All right, all right, all right. Oh my goodness gracious. Hello, 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 hello. Hi guys. How is everybody doing? How is everybody doing? All right. So here we are. I'm going to take my time with this, guys. All right. I'm going to take my time with this. I'm going to be sharing some stuff with you guys now. I'm not necessarily here to break down scriptures, right? Like I said, I am here to just do this presentation. So my husband asked me to put this presentation together and present it to the sisters, right? Of course, he looked it over. It's Priest Daniela's approved, Priest Daniela approved. So, right. So I'm here to present this to you, but I'm not necessarily here to break down scripture. So if you guys have any questions regarding anything that I'm going over today, there will be a brother that I will bring in, and he'll be able to answer your questions. If any of you sisters want somebody to break down the scripture, I just wanted to say that, okay? All right, so I'm going to get into it, and I'm going to take my time with this. All right, so the Proverb 31st woman, who is she? That's the question. The question is, who is this woman? Who is she? So, the importance of history. As you guys know, the Bible is our history book, right? Every words that is written in the Bible have meaning. History is very important when we're trying to understand words and their meaning, all right? So here we have King Lemuel, right? These are his words. He's speaking, right? Let me go to Proverb 31st here so I can follow along with you guys, right? So this is King Lemuel, and he is pretty much repeating the words of his mother. These are the advice that his mother gave him, right? And in case you guys didn't know, King Lemuel is King Solomon, okay? Lemuel was Solomon's nickname, all right? So this was King Solomon talking, and he was pretty much repeating what his mom told him, right? So this was King Solomon's mother's advice to him regarding the choice that he makes in choosing his future wife, right? Yeah. So let's get into it. How many of you guys knew that King Solomon nickname was Lemuel? Yeah, that was his nickname. All right, so I'm not necessarily going to start from the first verse, but we're going to start off right here at Proverb 31st and the fourth verse, right? 4, 5, and 6. So his mother is telling him it is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes to drink strong drink, right? Lest they drink and forget the laws and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted, right? Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy heart. So when you have the leader of the household, which is the husband, the man, right, who is always drunk and out of control, right, he'll most likely be tempted to do things that are an abomination, right? Because he's not really his cognitive functions are not 100%, right? So a man like that, his wife, his children will uh, more than likely lose respect for him, right? They will lose trust in him. They will see that he's not competent to lead, right? And once that man loses the respect of his family, he's no longer reputable, right? He becomes somewhat of a joke, a laughing stock. The wife and the kids would not listen to him anymore. They won't respect his leadership anymore, right? And the entire family dynamic will crumble, right? So our men are supposed to be sober, right? They're supposed to be sober. And we must teach these things to our boys. Like for those of you sisters who have boys, these are things that should be taught to the boys. It's not good if you have a man in the house drinking around your kids, and your children are like sponge. They pick up on these things. I've seen it. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to go over that for a second. So chapter 10. Chapter 10 of Proverb 31st says, "Who can find a virtuous woman?" Right? "For her price is far above rubies." Now we're going to take a look at the word virtue, because a lot of the times we read the scripture, but we don't really take note of each words that we're reading. Like certain words, we kind of just skip over it, right? If you ask the average sister, in the truth, uh, who is the Proverb 31st woman, they'll, I get this all the time. Oh, she's she dressed very modest, and she cooks, and she takes care of her family, and she's modest. And that's pretty much the average answer you'll get from the average sister. They don't really understand who this woman is. Most sisters think this is just a woman who put on a head wrap, a long dress with fringes, and breastfeed the babies, and cook and clean for her husband all day, right? But this woman is more than that, way more than that, right? So virtue. Who can find a virtuous woman? So the word virtuous comes from the root word virtue, right? And the word virtue mean uh, is behavior showing high moral standards, right? High moral standard. That's very important, because if we can just take a look out there in these streets, and we could see that majority of our sisters have no high moral standards, right? Right is wrong, wrong is right nowadays. You can't tell our sisters nothing. They're just completely out of order. Our women, I'm talking about just the average Black woman in the streets now, there's literally no moral standards at all. Like our women have no morals, none whatsoever. There's no telling them how to dress, how to talk, how to walk, how to eat. Like when I was growing up, we have, there's a way to eat. There's a way to sit when you go to a restaurant. There's a way to sit down in a chair. There's a way to, eat with a knife and fork. There's just a way. It's called etiquette. Etiquette. There's just a way to behave as a woman. And if you look around, there is no etiquette among Black women at all. We have absolutely no etiquette, you know. And so the word to having being a virtuous woman is having high moral standard, which majority of our sisters don't have. Majority of us don't have that, unfortunately, right? Let's move on. And that's what we should be teaching our daughters. Our daughters. And I'm speaking even as women in the truth. These are the things that we should be teaching our babies. It doesn't matter if they're 2 years old, 3 years old, 5 years old, because you have to water that plant at the root. We have to water the plant at the root. We can't wait until the plant get older and now we're trying to break it. No, no, we have to nurture the plant at the root. So it says her price is far above rubies. Now, I'm not really, I don't know much about jewelry, so I had to do some research on rubies because I really had no idea how expensive rubies are, right? Um, and I was shocked as to how expensive rubies are. So, so we know that rubies is a natural, rock. It's a natural stone, right? Um, None of us start this journey as the finished product, right? We all go through a refinement process, right? That lead us to become the finished product, right? In this case, it is the virtuous woman whose price is far above rubies, right? So yeah, we all have to go through trial and error, right? So I was online looking at the prices of rubies, and these are the prices that I saw. I mean, I went to some website that sell natural stones. Do y'all see the price here? This is one price right here for rubies. This is raw natural rubies, right? Look at this one right here. Do y'all see this? Look, is my mathing? Look at this. This is $5 million for this is raw ruby right here. I found this on some really expensive website that sells stones, like natural stones and jewelry, and this is the price. Like, rubies are expensive, and the scripture says the Proverbs 31st woman, her price is far above rubies. She's priceless. She is priceless. Okay. Yeah. So verse 11, the heart of her husband trusts in her, and he shall have no need of spoil. Right? Her husband finds joy in being around her because she creates a peaceful environment for him. She's trustworthy, she's kind, she's helpful, she's humble, she's non-combative, she's feminine, she's inspirational, she's cooperative, she's his help meet, right? She makes him happy. Yeah. Right? She will do him good all the days of her life. Verse 12. Proverb 31st and 13. She seek wool and flax, and she works willingly with her hands. Now, we all know what wool is, right? Wool is a natural fiber that comes from the sheep, right? Now, we're going to find out why she's seeking wool and flax. Okay? The scripture says she seek wool and flax. We're at verse 13, right? So we know the wool comes from the sheep there, right? There we go. There's a process, right? There we go. We have some wool there, right? And so flax. What is flax? She's seeking wool and flax for a reason, right? What is flax? So flax comes from a plant, right? Comes from the flax plant. This is the flax plant here, right? I'm going to take it slow today, ladies. I'm taking it slow today. So here we have flax, because it says this woman is seeking wool and flax. She's seeking these things, okay? Pay attention. She is seeking these things, and she's seeking them for a reason. So she's seeking wool and flax, right? Okay. So we know that flax seed and flaxseed oil come from the flax plant, right? That's the flax plant right there. And we have flaxseed and flaxseed oil. That's where flaxseed and flaxseed oil came from, right? Okay. And this right here is dried flax plant. When you cut them down and you dry them, right? That's the flax plant. We're going to find out why this woman is seeking wool and flax. And here we have the dried flax plant that is processed into fine fiber, right? There we go. Fine fiber, right? And here we have, it's been a little bit more processed. Here we have the fiber and we have a piece of fabric right next to it there, right? And then here we have the finished product. So in case you didn't know, the fabric that is called linen is made from the flax plant. Okay? So verse 13 is telling you that our woman here, our Proverb 31st woman, she's seeking wool because the wool is made into fabric, right? What do we use wool for? We use the wool to keep us warm in the winter time, right? Make some jackets and shirts and whatever, right? And the flax plant makes the linen fabric. If you have ever worn linen in your life, this is where the fabric linen comes from the flax plant. So she's seeking these things for a reason. All right. And we're going to find that out in a second. Why is she seeking wool and flax? Okay. Why is she seeking wool and flax? Well, she's seeking wool and flax because she is making fabric. She's sewing. She's a dressmaker. She's a seamstress. That's what she's doing. Right? Okay. So I have a scripture here, Exodus 39. The scripture says, and they made coat of fine linen, right? This is the Most High command the high priest to wear these fabrics, okay? And verse 27, Exodus 39 and verse 27, they make coats of fine linen of woven work for Aaron and his son, right? And a mitre of fine linen and goodly bonnets of fine linen and linen breeches of fine twine linen. So our forefathers were commanded to wear these fabrics, to make, their garments out of these fabrics. Okay. A girdle of fine twine linen. All right. Just wanted to throw that in there for you guys. Okay. So our forefathers wore garments that were made of linen. All right. That was, commanded of the Most High. Yeah. There we go. Leviticus 16 and 4. He shall put on the holy linen coat, and he shall have the linen breeches upon his flesh, and shall be girded with a linen girdle, and with the linen mitre shall he be attired. These are holy garments. Therefore shall he, wash his flesh in water and put them on. All right. There you go. Now, I want to say also, in the scriptures, we did have our sisters, right? Our sisters were the ones that were helping the brothers to make these garments. I just want to throw that out there. Our sisters in biblical times were the ones that were helping the brothers to make these kingly garments. All right. Now, there we had a sister named Sister Tabitha, right? In Acts chapter 9, verse 36 and 42, right? We had a sister by the name of Sister Tabitha, right? This woman was full of good work and alms deed, which she did. Okay, so she was making garments for the brothers. And it came to pass in those days that she was sick and she passed away. She died, right? And Peter arose and went with them. And when he came, they brought unto him the upper chamber. They brought him into the upper chamber, and all the widows stood by him weeping and showing the coats and garment that was made by Sister Tabitha while she was still alive. So this was a woman who was making garments, and she wasn't charging them. She says alms deed, giving of arm, an act of charity, a good work, right? So this woman was out of the goodness of her heart, right? Out of the kindness of her heart, she was making garments for the brothers to wear. Yes, she was. Right? So yes, we did have sisters that was really helpful to our brothers, making garments and doing other things, right? Now we're verse 14, Proverbs 31st, verse 14. She's like the merchant ship. She bringeth her food from afar. This is a busy woman. She's out there gathering all the good foods and bringing it home, right? She ain't out there ordering on Uber. She's not ordering Uber Eats and from McDonald's. Okay, I'm just making light of it, but she's definitely not ordering Uber Eats from McDonald's, guys. She's out there in the fields, like gathering her food. She's bringing home some good food, right? I want to play a little video here. This lady is from my country. She's in Jamaica, right? And I want to share a little bit of my culture with you guys. From where I was born and raised. This is pretty much how we kind of grew up back home in the Caribbean. A lot of us who were born and raised on farms, right? So I'm going to share a little bit of where I came from with you guys. Here we have a young lady. I follow her on Instagram, and I'm going to play a little bit of what she does as she's back home in Jamaica. So her name is Jessie, and she's a farmer. She owns this farm.
It's Farmer Girl Jessie coming here live from my farm with Pro Jamaica. As you can see, we're here out. The sun is out already. It's about 10 o'clock now, and
I'm not going to play the whole thing.
So we need to take up back the farming.
Lovely red pumpkins.
Okay, cool. I planted some the other day in my backyard, Hopefully they come.
Okay.
Well, you just plant them and leave, you fertilize them and things?
I have to fertilize them.
Okay, cool, cool.
When you plant them like
start to crush it with the right planting.
And she got a little bit of everything on this farm. I'm talking about corn, potatoes, pumpkins, scallion. I mean, it's just herbs and spices and root vegetables. She got it all on here,
But is there a time for you? All right. Definitely, I know that person will do it.
Got some cabbage there, a whole bunch of cabbage. All right. There we go.
All right. Take that in your ear. The man just.
Got some okras.
Instead of sweet, wherever I plant something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whole lot of okras.
Sir, please look.
Got some beans and peas over there.
Okay, that's
right.
Them look so.
So I wanted to show you guys that video just to show you guys that this is our culture, guys. When I say our, I'm talking about us Hebrew Israelite. This is our culture. This is how we're supposed to be living, all of us, right? We were all dropped off at different slave ports, and all of us didn't have this, you know, what I call privilege. But this is how we're supposed to be living. This is how our women live, as we're gonna find out in this Proverb 31st chapter. This is how we used to live. Okay, this is natural. This is normal for us, right? This right here, this type of lifestyle is normal for us because it's how we're supposed to be living. And I'm very grateful to the Most High to have given me that privilege. You know, sorry guys. Okay, so the scripture says she rises also while it's still nighttime, right? So this woman is getting up at the crack of dawn, right? She's getting up at the crack of dawn. And what is she doing when she wake up? She give meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. So she's getting up at the crack of dawn. She's cooking, right? She's cooking breakfast for her family. She's feeding her handmaid, right? She's taking care of her family. She's about business, right? Verse 16, she consider a field and she buy it, right? Now she's thinking about a field and she bought a field. And we know that a field is a large plot of land that is used for cultivation, right? So this woman is thinking about a field and she went and bought a field. What is she doing with a field? With the fruit of her hands, she plant a vineyard. So she's planting something on that field. Now, what do we know a vineyard to be? A vineyard is a place where some type of crop is grown to make wine, right? That's what a vineyard is, right? So this woman is planting a vineyard on the piece of land that she bought. What is she doing? What is she doing with that? What is she doing with the vineyard? Okay. We're going to find out. She gird her loins with strength and strengthen her arm. Some of you might understand what it means to gird your loins, right? Gird up your loins, right? I have a picture here to demonstrate what it is to gird your loins. You know, when I was growing up and I was helping my grandmother and my family on the farm, I didn't realize I was girding my loins. I used to gird my loins. I saw my grandmother girding her loins. I saw my mom girding her loins. I used to gird my loins because we all wear skirts. When I was growing up, we all wear skirts. You know, we really did not wear pants. So when my grandma and my mom and, us kids, we would go down on the farm in our skirts and we would gird our loins. But I didn't understand this was girding. So you're pretty much tying the hem of your skirt there, right? So I have some videos here. I want to demonstrate what it is to gird your loins, right?
In ancient times in the Middle East, men traditionally wore a robe as part of their everyday attire. The robe is not to be confused with a dress or muumuu. If he had to lift something heavy, requiring him to squat or to bend his legs, providing a strong lifting base, the robe would prove to be a limitation. Or if he wanted to play a game involving running or kicking a ball, the robe would limit his range of motion. Or if he were attacked by a wild animal. When he wanted to accomplish something difficult, these limitations led to the phrase, gird up your loins, or gird up your loincloth. First, a man would reach between his legs and grab the backside of his robe and pull it upward toward his waist. Next, the robe would be tucked into the man's belt, securing it. After a man would gird up his loins, he would have better mobility, like squatting to lift, running in place, kicking a ball, and standing in a wide stance defensive posture.
All right, so Esau is always making fun of stuff. So the girding of the loin is really allowing a person to prepare themselves for something difficult or challenging, right? It offers better mobility, right? So it doesn't hinder physical activities, right? And she's strengthening her arms because she's getting ready to do some manual labor. Okay. So this is a woman who's working. She's getting ready to do some labor, some manual labor. She's girding her loins. She's strengthening her arms. She's getting ready to go to work. Right. And here I demonstrate for you guys girding up my loins. If you're on the farm, you're gonna need a machete after you gird up them loins. Okay. All right, that was silly. Just a little bit of demonstration of how you gird up your loins. Listen, I'm telling y'all, you're out there. Our woman was not wearing tight leggings. Okay, they probably had on something underneath their skirt, but the idea is our women were wearing dresses and skirts, right? And so that would be the need to gird up the loin because she wasn't wearing a pants, right? She was wearing a dress. And so you had to gird up the loins while you're wearing that dress. And also the men, going into war, they're girding up the loins before they go into war, right? So it, like I said, offers for better mobility. So yeah. Proverb 31st and verse 18. She perceived that her merchandise is good, right? She perceived that her merchandise is good, right? What are we talking about? What merchandise are we talking about here? So we know she planted a vineyard, right? She planted a vineyard. So where did she get this merchandise from? Is it possible that she makes and sell wine? She perceived that her merchandise is good. So, and when she's perceiving, to perceive is to become aware of something, right? Right? So she's becoming aware that her merchandise is good, right? What is the meaning of merchandise? Let's take a look at the meaning of merchandise. Merchandise are goods or product that are bought or sold. So she have merchandise that she's selling. Yes, she is. right? So we know she planted a vineyard. So is it possible that she may have a wine business that she's doing? She might have a. Hey, I'm just saying she might have a wine business. She might own a winery, right? Because she's selling merchandise here, right? She have merchandise, right? Okay, let's move on. She's not planting a vineyard for nothing. You don't just go buy a field and plant a vineyard, a wine vineyard for no reason at all, right? Okay. And now it's saying that she perceived that her merchandise is good, right? Okay. Her candle goeth not out at night. So this is a woman who's up late at night working on her craft. Okay. The gift that the Most High gave her, that natural gift that she's using. She's up late at night working on her craft. She's you know what I mean? She's up late at night. Her candle goeth not out at night. She lay her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. What is this talking about? What are we talking about here? She lay her hand to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. What is a spindle? Let's take a look at what a spindle is. Spindle and a distaff. So a spindle, ladies, is a rod. It is usually made from wood for spinning and twisting fibers such as wool and flax or cotton that are held on a distaff and then turned into fabric. Okay? So the scripture said, let's go back to say what the scripture says. She lay her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff, right? And we already just found out that a spindle and a distaff makes fabric. So this woman is making fabric. Here we go. So here we have a spindle here, right? This right here at the bottom, that's a spindle. And this thing at the top right here is a distaff, right? So that's a spindle and a distaff. This is what you call a handheld spindle and distaff, right? That's the handheld. And this right here is a machine. It says a spindle and a distaff machine, right? It's an old-fashioned one, very, very old-fashioned, right? This is what you call like a spinning wheel, right? And so this machine, just like the other one, is used to make fabric, right? There we go. And so I have a video here because let me say this. I was not able to find not one video of a black woman using a spindle and a distaff. Very, very, very disappointing. I mean, I searched the entire internet and could not find not one sister using a spindle and a distaff. And this is our culture. All these people got this from us. And I couldn't find not one of us doing this. But let me show you guys what it is, what this spindle and distaff is used and how it's used. Hold on. Let me play this video here. I kind of sped up the video because I didn't want it to be too long. So that is actually that's the machine. It's a more modern version of the spindle and distaff. And so what she have there is fiber, and she's turning those fiber into fabric. All right. So I'm not sure if that's cotton or wool. I believe that's wool, right? So that's raw wool that she's turning into fabric. And it is a long process. So, sisters, let me say this right. Our woman wasn't out here being hot, trying to have hot girl summer. Okay, our woman was our women in biblical times were being productive. Okay, we had skills, and we were using our skills to build ourselves up and build up our families. This is some of the things that we did back in the days. Okay, and now you have Becky took it over, and you can't even find that one black woman uh doing this anymore. I mean, I've watched so many videos of white women making fabric from the spindle and the distaff. If you ask the average black woman what a spindle and a distaff is, they have no idea. No idea. Some sisters in this truth don't even know what a spindle and distaff is. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to teach this. I have show this presentation today, because it's very important that we understand what our lineage, what our culture is. This is our culture. This is where we came from. We were the one that was making the fabric. The Most High command our men to wear these things. Let's move on. Right? And here you have another Becky. I'm going to play, right? Showing us again. So what she's holding there is a distaff, right? Let's play the video.
Whirl. The distaff makes you portable, and it's handy if you're in hostile conditions like windy weather.
And that thing she's holding with her hands there is the spindle.
You need to walk long distances. And I'm getting one of the spindle shafts, which I've already spun on, ready. And I'm going to spin from the distaff. Basically, I'm going.
And this thing you see wrapped up around the distaff there, guys, that's raw wool. Okay, that's sheep's wool.
To start with the leader and get the new wool mounted on it. And then stored away, back and forth. The distaff holds a lot of spinning, perhaps a whole day's worth, and you can use it throughout the day and put it away instead of having your wool wrapped on your wrist, getting tangled in your clothing. It's a much easier stop and go kind of operation. If you have to chase a toddler, you basically can grab and go. Afraid the toddler might be getting a long distance at this moment.
All right, so there you have a demonstration of making fabric on a handheld spindle and distaff. All right, and I just wanted to I threw these pictures in here to show you different women from different cultures. Of course, these are all heathen women, but these are all different women from different cultures that uses spindle and distaff. So we have, I think this woman is from Romania. There's another old lady there, and she's using the spinning wheel, right? There's another woman there. So, you have the distaff there, and down there you have the spindle, right? So it still is a thing. I mean, if you go to YouTube, you'll see white women still using spindle and distaff. So this is not, we don't really hear about these things or see these things because obviously this is not mainstream anymore. You know what I mean? But if you go searching for these things, you will find these things on YouTube. It's very interesting. I've watched videos where women make the fabric from scratch. They went out and they got the flax plant, and I've watched a video where they process the plant and they get the fibers and they turn it literally into fabric. I watch it from start to finish, so this is still a thing. All right. So since our woman is seeking flax and right, and she's using the spindle and the distaff because we know she's seeking flax and wool, right? So she's making fabric. and she's using that spindle and distaff. So she's getting the material, and she's using the machine, and she's making fabric, right? So I think I'm asking, did she own a merchandise store? Possibly, right? Because she's making stuff, right? Did she own a clothing store? That's a question, right? She stretched out her hands to the poor. We're on to verse 20. She stretched out her hands to the poor, right? Yea, she reached forth her hands to the needy. So not only is she's getting up at the crack of dawn, right? She's taking care of her family. She's making, merchandise. She's planting her vineyard, right? She's also given to charity. This is a kind woman. This is a very kind woman who's out there doing charity work for the community. That's what she's doing. She's doing charity work for her community, right? Most High bless her, and she's blessing her community with some of that blessing that the Most High bless her with, right? Verse 21. She's not afraid of the snow for her household, because her household are clothed with scarlet. So she's making clothes for her household, right? And we know that scarlet is a type of fine and expensive fabric, woolen fabric that is usually dyed, right? So she's making sure that her household is comfortable and warm in the wintertime, right? She's designing stuff for her family, right? I just wanted to throw these pictures in here just to give you guys an example. This is some ancient scarlet design here. This is a winter coat, some type of winter garment here. As you can see, it has the some type of thing around the neck there. This is a winter garment, right? There we go, woolen winter coat, right? Verse 22, she maketh herself covering of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. What is tapestry? I told you guys I'm going slowly today because I want to show you guys who this woman is. Tapestry is a form of textile art made by weaving the fabric, right? Tapestry is worn as fashion. It was also draped on walls of castles for decoration. So tapestry is extremely expensive and could only be afforded by, the upper class individual, folks who have money, right? And she's making tapestry, right? So we know she's a designer. She's a seamstress. She's making stuff. And these are the things that she's making. She's designing it from scratch, right? It's textile art. All of the little intricate details that goes into these designs, she's making it. Okay, that's why she's up at the crack of dawn, and that's why she's up late at night working on her craft. This is a hardworking woman. Okay, yes, she is. And I was very curious, and I went online to look at modern day tapestry. I was able to find something on Neiman Marcus, and I was looking at the price here, and this is almost $3,000 for this little tapestry jacket here, and it's not even the real one. It is a little knockoff. But just to give you guys an example of how expensive these type of designs and fabric is. I mean, yeah. So, verse 23, Proverbs 31. Verse 23, her husband is known in the gates when he sit among the elders of the land. What kind of man do you think her husband is? He's known in the gates He sit among the elders of the land. What kind of man you think that? What kind of man you think this woman's husband is? What kind of man do you think he is? You think he's a Pookie and a Ray Ray? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Not sitting among no elders in the land. Okay. So I have put together a few words that I use to describe the type of man who I think this woman's husband is, right? Let me see here. I think he's wise. I think he's ambitious. I think he's disciplined. I think he's a man that is assertive. I think he's adaptable. I think he's agreeable. I think he's admirable, trustworthy, God-fearing, articulate, attentive, generous, balanced, brave, calm, caring, charming, maybe, committed. He's a communicator. He's compassionate. He's composed. He's considerate. He's dependable. He's determined, diplomatic, direct, discreet, has leadership qualities, right? Right? A woman like that, she don't have a regular husband. No, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. Right? Because she's not a regular woman. Okay? Okay. Let's move on. Verse 24. She maketh fine linen and she sell it. This is where we are right now, right? I want you guys to pay attention. She make fine linen and she sell it, and she deliver girdles unto the merchant. Who is a merchant? A merchant is a person or a company that is involved in wholesale trade. So we have our Proverbs 31st woman who is gathering wool and flax. And then she have her spindle and her distaff, and she's making fabric out of those wool and flax, right? And then she's designing clothing with those fabrics. And now what is she doing here? She's selling them to the merchant. She's delivering those things. This woman is running a business. This is where I want you guys to this is where we're coming to. She's running a business. Okay? And notice she still have a husband and kid. She's not an independent woman. I don't need a man. I'm an independent, don't need a man type of woman. No, she's got a husband at home. She's got children at home. But she is running a full-blown business. She's selling her merchandise to the merchant. She's delivering it. She's selling her stuff wholesale. She's running a full-blown business. You know why? She's a helpmeet to her husband. She's a helpmeet. God forbid, something should happen to her husband, right? You think they're going to be left out there in the wind somewhere? Ain't got nowhere to sleep? Nothing, no food on the table? If something were to happen to her husband tomorrow, this woman have a full-blown business that they can fall back on. Yeah. She's using her craft, her skills, the blessing that the Most High gave her, and she has turned it into a business, and she has become a help. She's a help to her husband. She's helping to bring in income into the home, right? And she's also using that blessing to bless her community. She's giving charity to the community because the Most High blessed her with that, right? So she's not sitting at home. Do you think this woman is not sitting at home twiddling her thumbs, just sitting around looking cute and texting all day and being on Instagram all day? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. She's busy. This woman do not have time for anything else. She is using her, she's being industrious. That's the word we're looking for. She's a very industrious woman. She's using her skills to uplift her household and her community. That's what she's doing. She's a businesswoman. Okay? She's using her craft to bring an income into the home. She's conducting business. That's what she's doing here. That is what she's doing. Right? Proverbs 31st and chapter 31st and verse 25, right? Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She works hard to serve others while honoring her duty as a wife and a mother. That's what she's doing. Working hard, serving others while honoring her duty as a wife and a mother. Okay? She's not having hot girl summer. She's not sitting around twiddling her thumb all day. She's a busy woman, right? Verse 26. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is the law of kindness. What type of conversation do you think this woman is having? When she's hanging around the other sisters, right? When she's out and about in public, what type of conversation do you think this woman is having? This woman is sharing her knowledge with her community. She's sharing her knowledge and her wisdom among her friends. She don't have time to sit around and gossip. She opens her mouth with wisdom, right? She's not sitting around lollygagging and gossiping and chit-chatting, and no. She's sharing knowledge. That's what she's doing. Verse 27. She looked well to the ways of her household, and she eat not the bread of idleness. Idleness. And let me look up the word idle for a second. Give me 1 second. Let's look at the word idle. Let me look at the word idle here. Laziness, indolence. Yeah, that's pretty much, yeah. Laziness, right? And just messing around, playing around, doing nothing all day, right? This woman don't have time to be idle, right? She don't have time to sit around and gossip and chit chat and talk about other people and sit on the phone all day and sit around texting people all day. No, this woman is busy. She's working. She's being productive, very productive. That's what she's doing. She's a very productive woman, right? Working on her craft. That's what she's doing. No time to sit around and idle. So the Proverb 31st woman is not sitting around gossiping, tale-bearing, causing confusion among the community, being dysfunctional, right? She's too busy taking care of her household, spending quality times with her family, giving charity to her community, and running the family's business. And you know what else she's doing? She's also spending time disciplining her children. I've seen too many times in the Hebrew Israelite community, children are completely out of order. I have to say this. I've seen it so many times. We're in the truth. We say that we're Hebrew Israelite, right? We acknowledge that. But you look at the kids, and the kids are completely out of order. no discipline. If we are sisters in this truth and we're raising children, our children should be a reflection of who we are as women in this walk. Our children should be disciplined. Do you think this Proverb 31st woman, do you think her children are running around out of order, rude, dysfunctional? Absolutely not. I guarantee you, her children are in order. They're disciplined. We should all learn something from this woman, all of us. I'm going to read from Titus 2. The elder woman likewise, teaching the younger woman to be in behavior as becometh holiness, not being false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, teaching the young woman to be sober, to love their husband, to love their children, to be discreet, to be chaste, right? Abstaining from, activities if you're unmarried, right? Keepers of home, good obedience to their own husband, right? That's your job as a woman, as an elder sister in this walk. You're supposed to be an example to the young sisters that are coming into this truth. You know what I mean? You should be an example to the sisters, and you should also be an example to the children. You should be the teachers of the children. You're the ones that are raising them at home. Okay. Proverbs 31st and verse 28. Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praise her. So this is a family, right? Where the husband and children are pleased with the woman of the house. She doesn't cause chaos in her household. She is a joy to be around. She brings peace to her household. Her children are disciplined. They are in order, and her household respect her. Let me tell you something, guys. When you are a mother and you have disciplined children, when you step out in the street with your children, you step out of your car, you're going to the store, you're going to the laundromat, you're going to wherever you're going, right? When your children are disciplined, it is people notice. People notice when you have well-behaved children, right? When you got kids who, as soon as they step out the car, they're running out in the streets, they're going down the block, you can't find them nowhere, they're screaming and yelling and running around in public, you know what I'm saying? Those are not disciplined children. Not at all. Not at all. No, your children should be a reflection of who you are, and also a reflection of what's going on in your household. In your household, is the father involved? Is he disciplining the children? Children are supposed to act a certain way. Proverbs 31st and 29. My daughters have done virtuously, but though excel them all. So what this scripture is telling us is that the woman, they're virtuous, but this one particular woman right here, the Proverbs 31st woman, she excels all of them. What does it mean to excel? To be exceptional, exceptionally good or proficient. So she's top notch. This woman right here, she's top notch. This is why the scriptures say, who can find a virtuous woman? This woman is very hard to find. Very hard to find. Her price is far above. She's priceless. Priceless. Verse 30, favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Most High, she shall be praised. It's a God-fearing woman, right? Verse 31. Give her of the fruit of her hand, and let her own work praise her in the gate. So she don't walk around praising herself. People know who this woman is because of the work that she does, right? People know her because of her works. Her works speak for themselves, right? Whatever she does, she's giving charity to the community, right? She's a designer. She's designing clothes. Like, people know her because of the work that she put in. That's how she's known, right? That's how she's known. Her own work praise her in the streets. So we're coming to the end of it. So we know now that the Proverb 31st woman is a very industrious woman. What does it mean to be industrious? Disciplined, diligent, and hardworking. Diligent, disciplined, and hardworking. Okay? No, this is not a sister who sit home all day and cook and clean and get her nails done and wear the head wrap and the long dress and breastfeed all day. No, she's not. This is a very, very hardworking woman. She's a businesswoman. She's being a helpmeet to her husband. She's giving charity to the community, right? The Proverb 31st woman is an industrious woman of high moral standard. Let me say that again. This woman is an industrious woman of high moral standard. She's a seamstress, a designer. She makes and sells merchandise. She's very talented. She values her family. She buys land. She's planting and harvesting crops from that land. She gives to charity. She gives to the needy. She gives to her community. And above all, she fears the Most High. She loves her husband and her family. She carries herself with dignity, and her husband and children loves and honor her. She is loved and respected by her community. She is unique to her husband and his needs. That's the woman that she is. That's the woman she is. Hello, guys. All right. So that was a little bit quicker than I thought. So yeah, we have come to the end of our presentation. I want to thank you guys for coming today. I really appreciate it. And thank you for your patience. We had some technical difficulties, but we got it all together. A lot of us just kind of breeze through the Proverb 31st verse. Like, we just kind of breathe through it. We don't really pay attention to the word. This is why at the beginning of the presentation, I said, words have meaning. Words are very important, and so we kind of just read through the verses and we don't really pay attention to the words. Yeah, those words have meaning. And, when you stop and study each of those words that you probably don't pay attention to, and you go and you research what those words mean, you get to understand what the entire scripture is talking about. So my husband started to put another class together, and it is a class on the opposite of the Proverb 31st woman, right? So we just learned about the Proverb 31st woman. The other class that I'm going to come with is going to be the opposite of this woman, right? I'm going to kind of focus on the women who are not the Proverb 31st woman and what we should never thrive to be, right? All of us should thrive to be this woman, this Proverb 31st woman. It would benefit us, really. Can you tell the woman that if you can before the altar? Well, absolutely, Sister Perry. Sister Perry says, can you tell the woman that if you can't perform all these things, that doesn't mean you can't be virtuous? Absolutely, right? Well, first of all, number one, everyone doesn't have the same skills. You know what I mean? I'm sure every single woman in biblical times were not planting vineyards, and I mean, we all have different talents, right? Not all of us sew. I mean, the Proverb 31st woman just happened to be a seamstress and a designer, but everybody can't be a seamstress and a designer because we all have different talents. So whatever talent the Most High gives you, right, you need to utilize those talents. It doesn't have to be sewing, right? Because there's more to life than sewing. Okay. So, I try to do a little bit of everything, right? I taught myself how to make soaps, right? I think that was a very difficult task for me because you need chemicals to make soap. And so I had to get over that hurdle there. I taught myself to do different things. As a woman, you kind of should kind of dibble dabble into different things. This is what I tell myself, right? I tell myself, if Becky can do it, so can I.
There's YouTube videos teach you how to do everything. There's YouTube videos teach you how to do everything.
And yeah, so there are yes, there we go. There are YouTube videos that you can learn from. Go to YouTube. If you can't do something, if you're not a great cook, right? Let's say you're not a great cook and hey, I want to open up a little restaurant or a little they'll have those little food truck business. Man, there are so many videos on YouTube that can teach you how to cook, right? Teach you how to sew, teach you how to make soaps, teach you how to do this, that, whatever it is, there's something on YouTube that is going to teach you how to do it. Go and teach yourself. Go and teach yourself. Just turn on those videos and learn whatever it is that you think you might want to do, you might be interested in doing. Go teach yourself. Get off of social media sometimes, right? This is why, and I'm going to say this to you guys, right? This is why when you guys text me, you don't really, I don't respond right away because, guys, I'm going to tell this to you, right? Don't take it personal when you text me. For those of you who have my numbers, right? Don't take it personal when you text Sister Malika and she don't text you back. Sister Malika is busy. You see these hands right here? For those of you who know my website, if you go to my website and look at every single one of my product, these hands make them, okay? I don't sell third-party products, okay? Every single product on my website is created with this hands, right? With these hands right here. I sit and make all of my products, put them all together, from the capsules, from the whatever it is you see on my website, I create them. I put them together. And so if I'm home creating things, I don't have time to text. I don't have time to text you, okay? I got my hands in stuff. I'm doing stuff with my hands. I am not going to stop what I'm doing to have a full-blown conversation texting somebody. Now, if you call me, I can multitask and talk to you, right, while I'm doing stuff, but do not expect me to respond to you through text messages because I'm just too busy. I'm keeping it real with you, sisters. I am just too busy. So the best way to reach me is a phone call. Yes, ma'am. All right. To the basic, we usually do it. Well, yes, Sister Anya. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sister Linda, you said the Proverbs 31st woman had you out of breath. Why? Why, sis? You need help so you can be more. So it's tough, Sister Anya. It is tough. I do need help. I just don't have any help, But yeah, I do need some help. I do it all by myself, and it takes time and a lot of energy, and yeah. But it is what it is. I wanna. Sister Linda says the got her out of breath. You got me cracking up, sis. Um, Internship for the young adults in the future, maybe to help. Uh, Internship. Hmm. That's something I thought about. That's something I thought about. I thought about it. I don't. Hey, if you guys want to reach out, and I don't know how these things work. Okay, I'm way behind time. I'm just, I'm very old fashioned. I'm not really up to date on a lot of these fancy stuff going on nowadays. I am so outdated, and sister Nicole, maybe if you can give me a call and kind of explain how that work. Yeah, please, because I'm completely lost with some of these stuff. Um, Sorry guys, I'm getting some texts here. Yeah, so I'm glad that you guys got something out of this, right? And you don't really seem to have a lot of questions. So, yeah, maybe we'll just kind of end it here. I don't want to keep you guys too long on here, right? I am really, really, really appreciative of you guys joining me today, though. Really, I was very happy to see you guys today. Um, I'm just trying to take note of who is on here. I don't know what happened to Sister Cynthia. Is Sister Cynthia in the room? Didn't see Sister Cynthia today. I hope she's okay. Hope she's okay. All right, guys. Did you guys have any more questions before I go? I want to keep you guys. I'm sure you guys have, to make dinner for the kids and the husband. Listen, our next class, maybe I want to have a little thing for the women who have children and husband, right? Sister Kelly, she's been watching my channel for a while, so she's, knows all about the health stuff that I talk about. But some of you sisters that are new to the channel and are new to the stuff that I talk about, maybe we can have another one of these discussing health and maybe some of the things that you guys should be making for your family and your children. Talking about health, how to take care of your family, health wise, right? And how to prevent certain illnesses from taking over you and your husband and your kids, right, sisters? All right. Yeah. And so, yeah, you guys said you want another class, so we will be putting it together, and we will let you guys know when that's going to be. Okay. Oh, and for those of you who are in Detroit, as I know everyone in this room is not from Detroit. For those of you who are in Detroit, we'll talk about that, right? We will definitely talk about that. And I want to thank everybody for thank you, sis. Coming today. Yeah. All right, guys. Lovely seeing your lovely faces today. Bye, guys. Thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate it. All right. See you guys later. Bye-bye.